Hello and welcome.
That's so going in the
Can I just tap the microphone a few times just to give myself a little notice of where we are? It's actually 20 minutes exactly,
Well, no.
Sorry, that's a little footnote for me.
Is that a trick of the trade?
Yeah.
Just so you know where it starts. Okay.
Chris smashing into the microphone, whatever that was.
Okay, take two.
Go for it.
Take 34.
Take 437. Go ahead.
Hello and welcome to episode 1 of Control Alt Record. My name is Chris, and with you with the show tonight. Did I tongue twist myself then? Let me try that again. With you for the show tonight is Brett, Grax, and Michael. Now, in the episode tonight, we are going to be talking about Star Citizen, Slime Rancher, Gamescom, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, Conan. We're going to throw a quiz in there somewhere. That's it. So let's get into it.
You're listening to Control Alt Record.
So, thank you. I'll take that, I guess. So Gamescom, that's a thing that just happened. What were everyone's thoughts on Gamescom? Usually Gamescom is great for showing off great big announcements and new stuff that's coming out in the upcoming 12 months or so. And my personal thoughts of it was that it was pretty kind of mediocre. How did everyone else find Gamescom? What was sort of some of your highlights, if there were any? That would be anyone? No? What?
So
That says it all, really.
That says it all?
Yeah. It's literally like, I'll add some crickets in there and that's it.
that'll work. For me personally, I usually check out Gamescom every year and have a look at what's going on. But to be honest, this year, all I really cared about from there was Star Citizen. Like everyone else, which we're going to talk about later, I was hanging for the 3.0 patch. I don't really know what else was shown this year. I know there were a couple of reviews about a lot of people being maybe disappointed about what was on show or what was shown to the media. But I honestly didn't really engage with any of that. All I was hanging out for was that Star Citizen thing, which we'll talk about later. But, let's...
Can I ask you guys a question?
Sure.
Do you like dinosaurs?
Well,
they're pretty cool.
What's the context? Because, I don't want to be eaten by a dinosaur. They're kind of cool.
They're cool when they're caged up. Is that what you're saying? Are you saying they're cool?
Well, that's a bit restrictive. I don't think... we shouldn't be oppressing our fellow animals on the planet. No, look, seriously, dinosaurs are cool.
Yeah, so obviously leading on to the Jurassic World, I can't remember what it's called, Jurassic Park /World/theme park mix game made by Frontier, which looks pretty cool to me. I don't know if... Go on.
For me, I saw that and wasn't. I don't know. To me, theme park simulators aren't really my thing, and I kind of thought when I first saw it was that it would look like it was going to be a mobile game, but it turns out it is part of the Xbox, lineup that's coming out next year. So I'm not thrilled for that whatsoever.
Chris, can I ask something?
You can.
What do you think of that as a sort of that title as an example of the power of the new Xbox?
Oh my god.
I don't think it's a great example of showing off the power for the new Xbox. The Scorpio.
Why?
Because
it's not called Scorpio. That's the project. It's not called that. It's called Xbox One X.
Oh, whatever it's called. I go
called Scorpio when it was in development, and then
it's a development name.
X, the Xbox Xbone X or something.
Xbox One X.
Should I call it Xbox -1 or something? -360.
Well,
I don't know.
So that's an Xbox Zero.
Well, because isn't that what they're doing? So it's Xbox, then Xbox 360, then Xbox One. So then it'll be Xbox either -1 or Xbox -360.
Maybe they could go for Xbox 0.5.
I mean,
5.
you guys don't work in marketing, obviously. I mean,
No.
you're not the greatest names.
No, definitely not.
Not that Xbox
No,
One X is that good either, really.
Is it called One X?
That's what it's called, Xbox One X.
Oh, that's fucking stupid. Why didn't you call it Scorpio?
Scorpio was a cool
Scorpio's
name.
dope.
That's awesome.
Kind of cool.
Scary.
Scary. Yeah, exactly. It's scary, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree. 100%.
And when you put it on sting you, it'll sting you. Game's so good, it will make you feel sick.
Yeah, it'll poison you.
Well, people have referred to gaming as being, an addiction or a poison. Or,
Okay.
hey,
I thought we were talking about Jurassic World.
Well,
we go
it
back to that
started
for a
that
minute?
way.
it did start that way, but
It started that way.
Well, we had to slip
Please
it away because
return.
Grax is pretty. It's a bit of a touchy subject. He seems to want to enslave dinosaurs, which I find personally offensive.
Well,
I didn't say that.
Okay, so I just think Frontier Developments, who make Elite Dangerous and Planet Coaster, the fact that they're making it is a good sign, because Planet Coaster is an absolutely fantastic game. And
Can confirm.
I'm assuming they're going to use the same engine and stuff. It's got really nice graphics, and I think it'll be really cool, like making your own little dinosaur park. And I don't know if sort of them getting out and eating everyone is going to be part of the game, or I assume it's like a disaster system, maybe, where they go crazy.
It would
and
have
stuff,
to be. I mean,
Oh, it's got to be.
Yeah, that's
Come
the
on.
it's got to be in it. I mean, it was in the
Where's
trailer.
the risk? Where's the risk?
And
It's a big trailer.
also, like, even if it's not part of it, what are you going to do? Like, you're going to release T-Rexes onto people. It's just going to happen.
Well, of course
Absolutely.
of course
Like,
you'd have to. But no, I just think with the Microsoft Xbox One X sort of presentation seemed to be very much a big sort of sales pitch, because they just kept talking up all the the hardware and the power and all that type of thing. And
Hang
then
on a minute. What are you telling me that at a big release at a convention, it's like a marketing pitch? Surely not.
Yeah, what are they going to do? They're going to be like, yeah, actually, it's not really that
Surely not.
powerful. I wouldn't even bother buying it, actually. It's wasting
no,
money.
but I would have liked, if they're going to do that, then put up like Battlefront 2 next to it or something like that to show the credentials of the hardware that it's showing, but to show sort of Jurassic World. I think I'm sure Battlefront 2 was probably down on the game floor for people to play. But to kind of line it up with, hey, this is our new powerful stuff, and then have Jurassic World that isn't going to have the level of fidelity that I would believe Battlefront 2 is going to have, based off what we've seen so far, I think they could have done a better job. If it's going to be a marketing sales point, we'll show off a game that's going to actually show you the power of it.
Isn't
Such
Forza
as Battlefront
7
2.
one of the games as well? Because that looks pretty sexy.
Look, I think every iteration of the Xbox console, they always bring out a new Forza game, don't they?
Yeah,
They bring 'em out.
Forza's
Yeah, they
basically Xbox's version of Gran Turismo for PlayStation. Like,
Yeah.
they're both very cool games in their own different way. Like, I like driving games; they're good fun. But I think Forza's just recently seemed to have the edge on graphics with regards to realism. And I don't know. What do you guys
When
think?
was the last time they released a Gran Turismo game?
Was it last year or the year before? There's one definitely
Was it?
coming up. I read it the other day. I got an email.
I feel like it's
from
been coming out
PlayStation.
for about 5 years. That's what it feels.
It's one of those things that are coming soon, no? Almost like Star
That
Citizen.
game was so boring, Gran Turismo. I played it on PlayStation. It was so boring.
You know, the thing about Gran Turismo that I liked was the licensing and the races and stuff. But the thing I didn't like, and the graphics were pretty cool, but the thing I didn't like was your cars don't get damaged. Like they wear, and your tires wear down, and you do engines and that kind of jazz. Whoops, Freudian slip there. But like your vehicle, you can just bounce them off walls. Like, you lose speed, but there's no real impact to your vehicle.
that's
Like
good.
there's an element to that in Forza, from what I remember.
Yeah, there's damage and stuff. Yeah.
So, that just added that more realism. And again, Xbox being much closer to it being a PC anyway. PC gaming for the win.
Yeah, so on to so Gamescom. So all we really got from it is Jurassic World is good and Star Citizen, and not really interested in the rest of it.
Well, no, they also had the new announcement trailer for Age of Empires 4. They didn't show anything. It was just a teaser trailer where they just kind of showed, I guess, all the different eras that you're going to be able to play in. But they didn't show any gameplay whatsoever.
What eras is that? What eras does it have, Chris?
Oh, God. It starts off, I guess, in the old caveman type scenario.
That's
time
when
frame.
you actually go. Yeah, it upgrades
And-
through times. Yeah, I forgot that.
Yeah.
I forgot that.
So is it still the same sort of isometric engine where you sort of...
No idea. They didn't show any gameplay. It was
Oh, was it like a theatrical movie thing?
not even that. It was just a very sort of
Coming soon.
comic styled cartoon, a very sort of rustic looking cartoon comic book as it was sort of panning across to the side scrolling across the video and just rolling through time. So it was a very short announcement trailer, but I would imagine that it's just really the marketing side of things is just going to play off the name Age of Empires, which has always been a hit series. So that's probably all they're going to be playing off. One thing we talk about later is PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, but I actually did sort of find out that with NVIDIA's Shadowplay system, that it's going to be PlayerUnknown Battleground will support the NVIDIA Shadowplay highlight system. So every time that you have that sort of writing in the background, and then every time you get like a kill in the game or something like that, the actually captures the last sort of 30 to 60 seconds or something like that. So every time you kill someone, you've got that recording every single time, which is going to be kind of cool for people who make videos for YouTube and things like that. You'll always capture and you won't miss that sort of those moments that make the game so interesting and so sort of dramatic. So I think that was kind of cool as well.
So in NVIDIA making that in their driver for just for PUBG, or is it for like all games that have text pop-ups that you could potentially use as a trigger?
It just literally showed the that played was just okay. You get the players running around in third person, first person shooting, and then every time they killed someone, up would pop up the sort of the PIP, or I think it's like the player in player video or sort of screen capture of you performing whatever the highlight is. So it's just sort of saying that there will be support for PlayerUnknown Battleground for this to actually happen, because I guess they have to tie it in with the coding and whatnot to actually know when something occurs, and that's why it's quite specific to PlayerUnknown Battleground. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, definitely. Sounds awesome.
Videos getting involved in that. So
you can record your first kill, Chris, when you get it.
Yeah.
Got him, yes.
Really? You're going to go there? Oh, okay. All right. We'll have to...
Don't watch any of the videos that we've played. That's all I can say.
Or you could totally watch the videos and see how many kills that we've got.
It's not worth it.
Not worth it. Chris not following the map led to us winning a chicken dinner.
Yeah, exactly. So
it's his one claim to fame. We've got to let him have it.
Yeah, we got one win thanks to me. No worries. But outside of that, there was no too many major announcements. A lot of it was just updates on things that I think a lot of the community already knew, from Far Cry 5, the new Assassin's Creed. There's some new updates to Final Fantasy 15. The new
Far Cry looks awesome. Can't wait for that.
Did you just say yes to Assassin's Creed, Brett?
Yeah, I love Assassin's Creed.
Oh, lame.
I'm out. I'm done with Assassin's Creed. It's just
I thought the concept originally in Assassin's Creed 1 was awesome. The concept of the Animus and all that was amazing.
You thought that was awesome?
I thought it was a very cool way to tell a story, but it's just gone. Well, it's a shame for you, not for me.
I really enjoy them. I've enjoyed all of them except for 3. I didn't think 3 was very good, but the rest of them, fucking awesome.
So the new Far Cry, that's the one where you're taking on a cult in Middle America or something, isn't it?
Set in Montana, and you're taking on
What? Montana.
You're just going back to the
Michael.
Do you like Assassin's Creed, Brett?
Why are you talking over me? What?
Do you like Assassin's Creed, Brett?
Yes.
Oh, you're a fan of the QuickTime event, aren't you?
Where are you going with this?
No,
that's insult.
Okay, so
not suspicious.
That's one. They don't have that much QuickTime.
Oh, that much. Okay.
Yeah, well, it doesn't mean the whole game's ruined. Just got QuickTime in it.
I just absolutely.
Anyway, stop derailing the conversation. Far Cry 5 is set in Montana, and it's basically a crazy religious cult, and that's your enemy. And you can bring in like allies and stuff, guy in a plane, and
It'd be better if you were in the cult and you had to fight the authorities.
That's true.
It would be interesting. That would actually be kind of interesting.
Really?
From the other side.
You think it's all right to simulate shooting the law, the police in video games? Well,
Grand Theft Auto did it pretty well.
Yeah.
I'll be reporting you to the police, my friend. See something, say something.
Look out.
Ooh,
coming to a jail near you.
Michael's a narc.
And he's undercover.
That's secretly why he's here.
Right.
look, outside of that, there wasn't really a whole. There was nothing sort of super surprising that no one saw coming. Even reading through all sort of like Bethesda had the Wolfenstein 2, Evil Within 2, Doom and Fallout VR stuff was kind of mentioned. And like I say, with Ubisoft.
Fallout VR would be amazing, don't you reckon? Like Fallout
it would
4,
be if it's done right.
So good.
Only if it's done right. If it's just sort of
it won't work. It won't work because you can't do first-person shooting games like open world first-person shooters and not get sick without because of the movement and stuff. I don't
Imagine
think
if they could pull it off.
Like first-person shooter either, so that's all right.
What's that?
Bethesda can't do a first-person shooter right either, so that's all right.
So salty.
I have read a review on it, like an early review, and they said that you basically can't even play it for the length of a mission because you start getting motion sickness.
Okay, because like, has everyone played Fallout 4? Like, it was such a groundbreaking, immersive game.
Don't you reckon, Michael?
Groundbreaking. What?
It's the first time they've done the Fallout series in first person, like in the world. You're in the world doing stuff.
3?
It was
Fallout 3 was very similar to Fallout 3.
Oh yeah, but it wasn't that good.
It's the exact same thing as Oblivion, which is the exact same thing as Daggerfall. It's like 20 years old at this
Which
point.
is the exact same thing.
It's just it's a remod.
Wolfenstein 3D.
Of what?
Never mind.
No, but yes, I don't think it's. Come on.
I love Fallout 4. It's like really great game, but yeah, I wouldn't call it groundbreaking.
Okay, maybe I overspoke, but I loved it. So there you go. I was just trying to convey my level of love
for the game.
Peace out,
Michael gets very upset when you speak positively of Bethesda games. He's just like it's just like waving a red flag in front of him.
Okay, so he's like a negative on Bethesda, where positive on Blizzard. What's your persuasion? What do I have to be careful of around you?
Everything that's AAA.
Watch out.
Just mention Dark Souls and he's happy.
Yeah, exactly. That's all you need to do. That's his. He'll defend that to the end.
Chris, why have you got such a dark soul, man?
I don't know if that was meant to be a dig at Michael.
Nah.
Because
I don't get it.
Played it. I bet you haven't even played it, Crash. You're too scared.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Is it true?
I haven't played it, no.
You're too scared.
I honestly had never heard of it, to be quite honest.
Oh, that hurts.
Yeah.
It's
not a blip on my radar there.
I guess for those easily distracted by Bethesda's marketing budget, it's a possibility.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Why am I even saying those things?
So Gamescom.
So Gamescom's done. That's basically it. So there was nothing else that to out of the hit it out of the ballpark or anything like that. Nothing too special. So, but that's it. So what's next on the list?
I think Chris is DC. There's a couple more.
I'm still here.
You said it was
okay. What else? What else is in Gamescom that seemed pretty cool?
Well, I was going to say, seeing as though you're talking about Gamescom, we might as well roll into the Star Citizen stuff because that was there and that was pretty much the big draw for everyone, I think. Everyone's looking forward to the 3.0 release.
I've been looking forward to it for the past 9 months.
That game
has
been hanging out for it since December last year. Exactly, yeah. So
I suppose before we go into Star Citizen, I guess it is one of those games that I suppose probably need to give maybe a quick explanation on what Star Citizen's all about and what the big fuss is about it. Do you think that's something I think it's something people need to know?
Yeah, I think it's probably a good idea. Let me find you the crowdfunding number.
Yeah. So
isn't that the game where lunatics are playing, like giving money for like non-real
the development?
You got a couple of
they're giving money for the development of the game. Yes. So
it's
crowdfunding. So people are donating basically for something that's
so
not.
It's sort of a public funded version of No Man's Sky, correct?
Yeah, basically in a nutshell.
To reality. Yeah.
Well, I don't know about that.
Just so we're sure.
We'll get there eventually.
Yeah. You said it was going to be the best game ever made. And you would never need anything else to play.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were like, Star Citizen can go fuck itself. I reckon No Man's Sky. No, that's what you said.
And everyone else like, no.
I don't think I actually said
that. No.
Oh,
No.
Them,
No.
them fighting
even-
words.
Not
There was
even.
an episode where you were talking about the algorithm of No Man's Sky and how it's going to be. It just.
I think I said it was procedural generated. I didn't talk about the algorithm.
He said algorithm.
What are you talking
He said
about?
The
I remember
algorithm
that.
in No Man's
That
Sky will
definitely
guarantee that no other game needs to be made.
That is not. Oh God. I think we need to.
Okay.
No. So,
All right, so I just jumped on the robertspaceindustriescom website to find out the latest Star Citizen stats on dollars funds raised. So, as we mentioned in that conversation there, totally crowdfunded, no developer backing or anything. It's all through general punters just donating their cash and throwing it down the toilet, in some people's opinion. But currently, to date, it
This could be
has
the greatest scam in
raised
history.
$158,090,252.
so
That's ridiculous. Well,
That's-
it's either going to
I
be the
got the-
best game in history or the greatest dollar scam. But they're actually producing stuff like, for the people that have paid $25, $30, $40 to get into the game, what you can play now in pre-alpha is better than some games that you're playing with from Activision, EA and stuff like that, when you're paying $90 and $100. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
I've paid
I don't know if I'd say
$100
that.
for a game and gone, oh man, what's
There's not
this?
much there. There's not much there.
That sounds pretty cool.
And you got the
man.
PvP section. You got join your mates in the squadron test battle thing.
the arena commander.
That's
So it's
it.
basically
Arena Commander. Use
yeah.
its correct term. Sorry.
There's a first
I haven't
person
even tried that.
like 5v5 or 4v4 4 versus 4 mode as well for first person. But that's actually fun. There's actually, you just haven't actually explored what you can do. You've only seen like a third
take it
of
back
what's
then.
actually in it. Now it is early access, it is alpha and all that, whatever. But it's got what's coming up now and has been delayed for basically the last year is the promise of alpha, because it's in alpha 2.6 version now and it's coming up to alpha 3.0, and they state and they claim that with the 3.0 introduction, that's going to basically be the spine of like the net code and the core fundamentals of what's going to be the foundation of this game. And from there, the development should then start to flow a lot more frequently, because all the good stuff's going to be in there that they need to build the rest of the actual game off. So
Yeah.
it's
They've got the base. They're bringing in the foundation of all of the
theory,
good
yeah.
stuff that will make it quicker for them to go towards release.
or
They keep kind of showing more stuff with like, we've got this face generation, we got this, we got that. It's like, I don't just...
they do keep adding more stuff to
Give me
it.
something more to play. Just give me something more to play. Like, I don't want to see
I-
any more tech demos. Just like, give me some more gameplay, please.
Yeah,
How much have
I
you
get
paid?
that.
How much
it's-
have you paid, Brett?
soon, TM.
Paid?
Yeah, how much have you paid?
I don't know.
You don't know.
What have I paid, Chris? $50?
Something like that.
Cool.
Whatever.
Whatever the base, whatever
I think
the
the cheapest
cheapest
one's
one is.
45 Australian, roughly, when it conversion,
that.
because they don't do it.
Yeah, I know what you're thinking, Michael. Michael thinks I've been scammed. But
No, I'm not thinking that.
you know.
You have. You all have.
Yeah. Look, I don't know. If I haven't been, if it comes to fruition, then it will be good.
now look,
if I
okay,
can say it's true. But I
so
was
it comes
happy
to
kind of
fruition in
buy
10
into it.
years and you go, oh, well, I should have just paid the $50 now when it's actually
So,
finished.
The
No,
way
they need money. They need money to. So you're like, it's the crowdfunding side of it. You know?
Well,
The
So
way I
the
look
thing is,
at
when
it
you do
is-
look at crowdfunding, one thing though, when you look at crowdfunding and you look at so many developers that go, I want all this money to make this, and people go, yeah, here you go, and then there's no credentials behind the developer. When you've got Chris Roberts heading this up, who had a very successful...
but there's like heaps of, all of the crowdfundings are all based on the developers like Star Appeal. That's all of them are.
Like, not to his
Every single like crowdfunded campaign has been based on the celebrity status of the developer.
Yeah, but no one's actually raised nearly $160 million to actually
Yeah,
get this over the line. So there's a huge difference between Chris Roberts going, this is what we're going to do, because clearly there's just under 2 million people, or just under 1.9 million people that
Want it to
believe
happen.
want it to happen and believe in his vision, and it's continued to grow and expand over the last sort of 5 years, and to the point where nearly made $160 million purely off people in the world going, yes, make this happen. And when you look at Chris Roberts, who's gone through the Wing Commander series, the Freelancer series, all really successful space simulations back in like the 90s, yeah, people they have a lot of faith in him. Where you see a lot of people, I feel, kind of just go, yeah, let's just give me money so I can make this game. That's just, they don't have the credentials that he does.
And Michael, that's basically why I gave them my $50 because they've only got 160 million.
That $50 has pushed them over the edge.
It all counts. It all counts.
Yeah, it all counts. Like the way I look at it for spending money on a game. So you go to the movies, go to like an actual Greater Union Cinema or somewhere like that, full blown cinema. You're looking at $16 to $25 depending on your session and all that kind of stuff. No, we don't. No product placement there. But you look at between 16 to 20, and if you go gold class, even more, 32 whatever dollars for
when you go for
a minimum of
evening. When you go for a lovely evening out with your family and your loved ones at Greater Union Cinemas.
So you've got you've got people that will go on their own.
Podcast and get 20% off your next ticket purchase.
Anyway. So your average movie runs minimum an hour and a half, some of them epics up to 3.5, whatever, right? So you do the math on that. If you're spending 60, 80, 100, 120 bucks on a computer game and play it for more than 4 to 5 hours,
yeah, but when you go to
it's
the movies,
cheaper than going to the movie.
Fair, though, when you go to the movies, you don't go and they go, here's all the things that's going to be in the movie, and then you go to watch it, and there's like 5% of it there.
That's a fair call. That is a fair call. But what I think though is for the $45 you've paid, what's in the game now is worth a
it's
movie.
not worth it. It's not worth
to be fair.
It's
several
worth
hours,
$10 to $20. But I was happy to give them money to develop it more, and I've already bought in, so hopefully I don't have to pay any more.
To be fair, Brad, just going back to that movie bit, like I don't know how many movie trailers I've seen, and then I actually watched the movie, and half the trailer actually isn't actually in the movie because they cut it out.
Or it's all in the trailer, and you've already seen it all.
Yeah, and there's nothing else. Yeah, 100%.
See, look, I think it's an absolute amazing vision that they've got going there over at Robert Space or Cloud Imperium Games, and I think there's just too many people in the world that want it to happen. So I don't think this is going to fall over.
The guy would just have a heart attack from all the stress associated with trying to get this thing put together in about 3 years' time, and it will never see the light of day.
If they get a third of what is planned into the game, it's just going to be amazing. Like, as soon as 3.0 releases, if and when it ever comes, that's bringing so much stuff with it that will really turn it into a base level game that it's worth your $45 to have a look. You'll be able to, at the moment in 2.6, I think there's the alpha, there's something like 14 missions you can do. They're repetitive, but you can go exploring. You can do stuff like it's cheaper than buying a mobile game and paying for DLC to upgrade your bases and stuff in that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like it's you contributing to the development of them building something special. I think it's going to be great.
It will be. There's nothing on this scale before. I love one of the sort of.
What about No Man's Sky?
Digs at Bethesda.
That was a whole universe in a single.
It's actually
the most recent patch. Yeah,
it's actually really good now.
Yeah, it took him a year, but
it took him a year to get there, but it's actually pretty good now.
Bad.
But one of the digs I did like that Chris Roberts sort of said in the presentation, I think it's obviously a stab at Bethesda, was they obviously praised about how big Skyrim was in the map and things like that. And as part of the presentation, they had obviously the players leaving the asteroid to go fly down to a planet and things like that. And as they were leaving, he sort of pointed to like a crater, and he said, "That's one of the smallest craters that we've created on this asteroid, and this asteroid is one of the smallest, and inside that crater you can fit the entirety of the Skyrim map in there." And everyone's just looking at it.
Can I just ask, so in that crater there's all the characters, all the quests, all the stuff, all the content, all the speech, all that stuff's within that crater. That's amazing. I didn't realize
that's amazing. And that's the smallest crater. Wow. Oh my god, they're doing so much work. That's stupid.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
No, it's not. It's not. There's at the size of the map.
He was talking about kilometerage.
I know
the kilometers. So that asteroid was called Delamar, and that's the smallest asteroid that's got a base of things you can do and open exploration, procedurally generated, whatnot. But
they point up
he was
the sky.
pointing.
The base is like 1,000 times bigger than all Skyrim
Yeah, 100%. He didn't mention that, but it is. I get what you're saying with that. I get what you're saying with there's no, of course there's not quest givers and all that, but there's procedurally generated stuff for you to do.
Is 100 times bigger than that house with lots of things in it. Like, who cares?
It's a fair opinion.
Yeah, see, I think that's just you two trying to take a dig at something that you don't understand. So,
Damn, I thought that guy was taking a dig at Skyrim. Oh no!
I wouldn't defend Skyrim, but I just think it's a really bad sort of simile to make because if you talk,
he's probably
just saying the size of it because then you can just go, oh, No Man's Sky is like whatever 10 trillion planets is fucking way bigger than Star Citizen, but it doesn't mean anything. It's a meaningless comparison.
Probably the thing, like everyone there maybe hadn't actually gone outside, so he couldn't actually say this is about the size of a football field. Like they had no point of reference, so they had to use Skyrim. That's the only point of reference some of the people in the audience had.
Because they wouldn't. Well, what's football? What does that mean?
What's a park? Yeah, this is a joke.
Yeah.
What's that? Well, I went outside once, but I hated the resolution. The graphics were terrible.
Animation was no good.
Yeah.
All right. Can we move on from Star Citizen, or are we?
we can move on to no. Oh look, hey, look, it was just for any Star Citizen fans. That's all. That's for. So next up, Slime Rancher. So this is something that Michael and Brett, you guys have been playing, and I don't understand why. So what is Slime Rancher?
Well, can I just say the world is about as big as a small asteroid. I couldn't say which asteroid.
Of course.
How big's the asteroid?
I don't know.
How small is the asteroid?
Do you want to introduce the game, Mark?
So if you go to the starting region of Skyrim, times that by 7.5 divided by 3, that's about the map size. So moving on to the next game.
And how many characters and quests are within this small little area?
No,
there's one character and there's many slime. Slimes.
So what is a Slime Rancher? What is that?
Well, a Slime Rancher is an individual who travels into the harsh outer planets where the slimes live, and the slimes poo out things called plorts, and they can be used for science and for they're worth money.
Hang
so
on. You said the slimes poo out stuff. I thought slimes were poo already.
Plorts. The slimes poo out plorts when you feed them things. For example, the cat slime likes to eat chickens. Mm-hmm. The rock slime likes to eat beets. So you will feed the slimes certain foods, and then they will give you, in exchange for the food, give you plorts, which you sell on the market. So you need to collect all these slimes and then feed them stuff.
Michael's not saying it now.
Give you crystals.
They're basically. He's not making it sound very exciting.
Where do the slimes come from?
It's super addictive.
Yeah, it's
basically
this doesn't.
There's a whole bunch of different slimes you have to collect, and there's a big world to explore. So it becomes really interesting because you get all the different slimes, and they have the more and more you get, they have all different characteristics, and they get harder and harder to ranch. Hence the Slime Rancher. You basically put them in.
I didn't find them very hard to ranch. I've had no issues with any. What problems have you encountered?
What about the quantum slimes?
Easy. What do you mean? What?
There's one's got a quantum slime. They teleport outside of the map or outside of the thing.
You just go and clean them up.
They're like.
So when you said Slime Rancher, I'm imagining like a cowboy with a lasso.
Pretty much. Have like a big gun.
Just suck them up with a vacuum cleaner, and then fire them out.
Oh my god!
It's
wow.
Yeah.
So what is the progression of this? Are you following a story? What are you actually trying to do? You just go.
You're basically trying to make your ranch bigger, and you get more and collect all the slimes. So it's kind of got.
So it's like base building game, basically.
Kind of, but it's got that.
It's
got that kind of Pokemon type feel to it, where you're trying to catch all the different slimes.
Got to catch all the poo.
Yeah. Well, no, the poo's like you basically round them up, and then they have in their little they're in their little enclosures, and then you feed them the correct food, and they have their plorts, and you then sell those. So that's just that's what you're sort of exporting, and there's like a market. There's a plort market, and they're worth all different values.
And there's also what are you buying for the market?
That just gives a whole new meaning to black market.
You just get money from the market, but then you can buy other things, like you can buy extra pens or like a pens.
Pens.
I don't remember pens. No, like
There's stationery in the game. Oh my god.
Corral.
Oh, I think they're like pens.
Like a cage.
I've got a red ink one now.
You get a science area, so you can research like teleporters and things like that.
Yeah,
it's
got
like
slimes.
I don't really know. I don't think they've actually built an end game into it yet. It's kind of like you just
Yeah,
do
so-
it for a while until you get bored. I played it for about 30 hours, and then I was like, oh yeah, I get it, and then stopped playing. How about you, Brett?
I'm a,
So is it a full release game or is it an early access
done
or
and dusted.
full release?
It's in.
Okay.
It's been in early
So
access
it's a
for
full
about
re-
a year, I believe.
DLC coming soon?
Is there any
Look, there is
DLC
an
endgame
I
coming
think
to it?
You get
Not
letters
sure.
from someone who's on Earth. I think it's your ex-boyfriend, but I'm not 100% sure. And there's like a, I've never read any of them, but you get letters, and I think there's a story that comes through that, and at the final letter is the end of the game. But then you can keep mucking around with the slimes. Yeah.
Ranching slime.
So
It
the
has
boyfriend's like sent a letter saying that he bought a sanitation truck and wants to take your slime's poo.
Yeah, something.
Something
somewhere.
like that. It's really it's actually like I find it to be like because you're probably thinking why the fuck would you play that? But it's like
Yeah, pretty much.
It's actually a really nice game to play. It has a really nice soundtrack. It's really quite. I find it very relaxing.
Yeah, you would
and
like
almost
it,
like
Chris. I bet
therapeutic
you'd
to play.
like it, Chris.
The slimes are extremely cute. It's actually it's got overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam. So it's not like we're the only weirdos that like it. It's got a really big following. It's actually a really really good game. If you don't like that game, there's like
it's
something
probably
wrong with it. That's
impossible.
what I
You
would say.
suck up.
Okay.
Let me have a look.
If you want to gift it to me, I'll give it a look.
Chris would
I reckon
like,
Chris is going to
would
buy
like
it, and he will like it.
It's not.
Guarantee it.
Well, it's got apart from the whole selling
flaws,
poo thing,
flaws.
it's got the quantities I like in a game. Like I like
They're like
base
little
building.
Poos aren't like normal
Research
poos. They're
and-
not they're like crystals. Yeah, they're crystals. So they're not like.
plorts.
Should I stop calling it poo? Like how many times can I say
Or
poo in this
plorts.
sentence?
Plorts.
Plorts. Plort.
Just
Yes.
Okay.
Where's Chris?
For plural.
I would recommend that
Especially
game
Chris.
to anyone.
Where is Chris?
It's so good.
He's gone. Oh, what do you think of this? What do you think of?
I'm
You're
here.
eating.
I'm
What are you eating, Chris?
Quite happy to take your recommendations.
Chris,
So,
what are you eating?
what would you give it out of 10? What would you give it out of
I'm
10?
not eating.
19 out of 10.
I give it I'd probably give it a 9 out of 10. That would be my.
That's huge.
Based on what?
Wow.
Just for the game, it is the enjoyment
It's
that I've
so-
got
it's
now.
so-
Like
relaxing.
playability.
Yeah, I've only played about 10 hours.
It's relaxing and nice and fun.
Okay.
I think I did see this. Like, I'm just on Steam now trying to have a look
Chris,
at
are
it. It looks
you-
like there was a demo. There's a free demo. I don't know. Maybe.
It gets you. Look, it just gets
Probably
you on
not.
that sort of chain of upgrading your stuff. Like you have a jetpack and you have like your little vacuum cleaner thing, and you want all the upgrades and you want to get more slimes, and it gets you on that sort of. It's the upgrade treadmill. That's the addictive part. Yeah. So it's
Yeah, the upgrade and
only
research
cheap.
and
I think it's only how
the
much
whole
is it, Chris?
base
Have you got that?
building thing, yeah.
It's not expensive. It's like $20 or $30. Yeah, so it's cheap for the money. Like it's not an $80
20
game, like
20
I don't
US.
know, or a $70
So it's
game.
not
But
too
a $20 game, yeah, great. And I give it a 9 out of 10, as I said. What do you give it, Michael, out of 10?
Yeah. Look. I'll give it an 8 because I feel like it gets a bit. It needs. It's fun to play, and that's worth a lot in my book. Actually, having a game that you enjoy just taking part in the processes of the game, like firing the crystals into the market is fun. It makes fun noises. Sucking up the slimes is fun. Sort of looking after, doing some menial tasks around your ranch is actually quite fun. It's just fun to play. The issue is that it's lacking a little bit of what to do at the end. So you just sort of, there's no real challenge. There's nothing sort of, they talk a little bit about the slimes can sort of evolve and get evil and then go crazy in your base, but there's no overwhelming menace sort of attacking you, sort of making sure that you're, that you're challenged in any way. It's quite just a sort of, very easygoing game. I'd like a little bit of challenge, a little bit of a purpose at the end of the game there that hasn't really come. So I'm at the point where I'm sort of, I'm researching all the science stuff, and it's basically I'm just farming lots and lots of plorts to get a new teleporter. That's all really that I'm looking forward to in the future is getting a new teleporter. There isn't really a lot of.
But I mean, the thing is, like, you're right with all that stuff, but it is only a $20 game, so the amount of content, for $20, I think.
Yeah.
is good and
That's what I'm
fair.
saying. Hey, but I'm just saying if we're considering all things, like a couple of extra marks would be good if it could give me a little bit of tension or a little bit of a greater purpose. I'm sure that would get added in.
But if it had that, it could completely disrupt the
Yeah,
flow
fair
and
enough.
the feel and the relaxation of the game.
Yeah, it could do.
Like That I see. I actually see what you're saying.
I reckon what they should.
That could be a good end game.
If I'm going to brainstorm here, what I reckon they should do is like, there's how there's gates and you can open up all these gates with like certain crystals. There should be a sort of evil-looking gate at the end of the map, and you put in a bunch of crystals, and that releases some bad thing, and then it has this like optional tower defense mode at the end and then there's a final boss, and that
we'll send this episode to the producers of the game, and they can maybe take it on.
Yeah.
The developers here. Let me look up who's the developer.
That's would be my idea of what could give that final sort of bit at the end. And I feel that the developer actually senses that they're looking for a final sort of hook at the end. But yes.
Okay. There you go.
Cool. Well, I'm looking at it on Steam. It's got like the review system's overwhelmingly positive, but Steam reviews are very fickle. But there's a lot of reviews there where it's got 8.5, 10 out of 10. So it seems like a viable thing. Looks a little cartoony for what I like to play, but if it's got those game mechanics that you're talking about, which that's what I do like in a game.
Fun. It's a very fun game.
So really it could be with I get hooked on those things that you need to be there to research or log back in and check how the progress of something, or you get the next upgrade, or that's what keeps me interested in stuff. They're always having things to do, and if it gets to a point where there's no end game and you sort of stop evolving, then that's when I lose interest in going to the next thing.
There's always stuff to research, but the issue is to what end? That question isn't really answered. There's no I need to research.
There's no real end game.
I need to research a better weapon so I can kill the monsters. There's nothing really like that.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Oh, it only got released on the 2nd of August, so it's only reasonably new to Steam by the looks of what it's saying on the page.
So there could still be plenty more to come.
Monomi Park is the developer. There you go. Send your thoughts to Monomi Park. I don't know what the context of this is.
Bring in a tower defense system.
I'm just trying to help you guys.
Bring in medieval warfare.
I don't mind the cuteness look of a game. Like I said, it does look very sort of. I don't. When I say childish, I don't mean that in a negative way. It just looks like a sort of relatively sort of kids game because of the colors and because of the sort of faces and the smiles that are going on. I don't. That type of thing doesn't exactly bother.
You're more like you're like a tough guy, Chris. You like monsters and scary stuff, don't you? You like.
No, I was going to say, but you see,
it's the size of
no, because
like scary monsters.
Yeah, exactly. No, I was going to say, because another one we play is like Astroneer, for example, has that sort of colourful, cartoony type look to it.
True enough.
So that isn't what bothered me. To me, it's just sort of like, oh, yeah, but you're collecting slime. Cool. And then you chuck them in a pen. Awesome. I know. So maybe I need to play the demo.
I thought the same. I was like, what is this shit? And then, I looked at all the reviews and I was like, well, Michael's playing the shit out of it, and it's got lots, overwhelmingly positive. I'm like, right, I'll just give it a go, and I was so glad that I did. Because I'm the same. I don't really like that cutesy stuff either, but I do in this game.
That's cool. Like I was just looking at it, like the graphic of the slimes and stuff, the way they look and the cartoon look of them made me think it was like a Japanese or Korean game, but it's American, San Mateo, California. So it's obviously got a great appeal.
It was Japanese, but no. No way.
It looks like Japanese cartoony anime, like not even anime, but if you haven't seen it before, go check it out on Steam and you'll see what I mean.
May have it.
But hey, each to their own. It's got nearly 11,000 reviews, 15 reviews short of 11,000, overwhelmingly positive. Like you don't often see that for a low budget indie game on Steam, really. The people that do reviews on Steam are brutal. If there's one patch or one update that breaks something, people the review turns horrid very quickly. Like it goes
but I think,
downhill.
Like Brett said, $20 you can't really go too wrong.
Exactly, and it comes back to what I was saying before about how I judge how much dollars I spend on a game versus what I spend on movies. Like for $20, if that's going to entertain you more than 2, 3, 4 hours, then you've your money's been well spent. That's occupied your time for that amount of time. Like some people put $50, $100, $200 through the poker machines before you'd finish playing a game like that. You know what I mean? So each to their own.
Not in WA, they wouldn't, my friend. So we don't have poker machines.
So what we'll do now is we'll break up a bit of the game conversation and actually go into the quiz. So this is something that Brett had wanted to do for some reason. So he put together a games quiz. So he put together a quiz. He's going to ask us a bunch of questions, and we're going to answer them because that's what you're supposed to do in a quiz. And then in the next episodes, we'll actually
sound like it's work. It's like this is going to be fun. This is a fun segment.
Can I just ask a question, Brett? Did you put it together or did you find it on the internet?
Well, I found questions that I wanted to
Everybody
ask.
finds everything on the internet. Nobody does their own work anymore.
no, of course not.
Where's
So-
my
They're
buzzer?
Okay,
Where's my buzzer?
they're obviously no Googling the question, but hopefully you'll be able to answer, faster than you.
Yeah, why would I
possibly-
Google the question? I'll Google the answer, Brett. Oh,
Well, you would type in the question and then it would give you the answer. Because if you just type the answer in, that's not going to work, is it? It's not Jeopardy.
Just
Oh,
note
Jesus
to the
Christ,
people
you're
out there
right.
in
You've-
cyberspace that not
done-
everything on Google is 100% true.
done me in there, Brett.
Yeah, that's a good point. So some of these answers could be wrong based on that. So we'll
I'll dispute it
So-
if it is,
so-
don't worry.
So what you do is I'm going to ask the question, and then when it finishes, you just
Answer
just
it.
shout your name out, and then I'll say who gets to answer.
This
And
is
you
going
only
to
get
work very well.
you only get one shot at answering.
Okay.
This
Is
is gonna
there a
work
time
so
limit
well.
on when you say your name to answer? Like, if you
No, you got to say
if I go,
do
if,
straight
so
away.
like if I go Grax,
Yeah, then I disqualify you.
Do you have one
You
of
don't
your
get
little
the answer.
sound effects that you can use as the
buzzer, buzzer.
Well, yeah, but then I'm the only one that can buzzer because
No, like if someone gives an answer and it's wrong, you can go
I
like,
see.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Do Darth Vader
no.
breathing or something like that is the
I don't
bad.
have anything like that. Next episode, we'll have live sound effects set up.
Such a dodgy episode, man.
I need like ding.
Post production.
Bow.
so
Yeah, maybe.
How many-
I'll just do the.
how many questions have you got?
Okay, so there's 8 questions,
8.
and it's going to be who gets the most.
Are they all gaming related, or there's some general
they're
knowledge?
all
and stuff?
gaming questions.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Okay.
See
You
how
guys
you go.
ready?
Hit me with your best shot.
Everyone ready? Hands on buzzers. You ready, Michael?
Should we
Yeah,
should we
yeah.
test our buzzers first?
No, I think
Getting
they work,
Google ready.
for sure.
Just getting Google ready. I mean, not getting Google ready.
Okay. All right. What is the name of the gang member that the video game Grand Theft Auto San Andreas revolves around?
Vinny.
Grax.
Michael. Vinny.
Oh, damn it.
Vinny.
His name's Michael.
Eh.
Oh, hang on. Grand Theft Auto
who
5.
else?
Oh. No, I think it's
said
Grand Theft Auto 4.
San Andreas. So who's,
Oh, I know that one. God damn it.
come on. It's up to Hurdy or Michael.
Isn't it the black guy?
CJ. CJ. It is CJ, and I'm
That is
correct.
one to Michael.
That's some.
God
That is
damn
some
it.
good-
Okay.
That's some good googling.
Don't, Chris. Just back down, mate. Back down.
Back down.
Hold on.
All right, next question.
Back
In
down.
what year did Nintendo release its first game console in North America?
1981.
You're supposed to say your name first. You're disqualified for this question.
Grax with 84.
Hurdy?
Okay. I'm
That
gonna
was a
have
complete
to go.
guess.
So Nintendo releasing in North America. Why not go for 87?
As well. It's 1985. So you were close.
Damn it!
Grax.
I was closest. I was closest.
No, it doesn't
Come
work.
on, man.
No one gets a point. Sorry,
Fair
it's got to be
cop.
correct.
Fair cop. Move forward.
Yeah, so that was the Nintendo Entertainment
Always
System,
moving
of course, in 1985.
mess.
Next question. In what year was the Nintendo 64 officially released?
Oh my god.
Chris,
2001.
I have to say
Chris?
Nintendo 64. I'm gonna have to go 1994.
Grax
Damn
with
it.
90.
Grax.
1990.
No, miles off.
I think it's
Nintendo
90,
64
98.
GoldenEye.
Is it 98? 90,
No,
98?
no, that's wrong as well. It was 1996. So, no
Really?
points there.
Yeah,
So, Michael is still in the lead with 1 point.
Yes. That's good.
We
Next, how
failed.
many
questions?
Consoles, man. We're a PC podcast. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, true, but, you know.
All right.
Another console one. What's the best-selling video game console of all time?
Ooh.
Oh, I know this. It
Michael.
It is. Oh shit.
If you're disqualified,
sure.
taking
No,
too long.
No.
Grax.
It's
I'm
Nintendo
gonna say-
DS. I think I'm pretty sure it's Nintendo DS.
No, it's wrong.
What about Game Boy Advance?
No.
I was going to say
Grax.
I was going to say Vectrex for comedy reasons, but I reckon it's probably PlayStation.
And it's Game Boy. It's the Game Boy. It's the original Game Boy.
What is it, Grax? Sorry, Michael keeps talking over you, even though
It's
he's
the original
disqualified.
Game Boy.
Michael, I will mute
Just
you.
mute
Shut
him.
up.
Yeah,
What was your answer, Grax?
PlayStation.
No, sorry, that's incorrect.
It's the original Game Boy.
Well,
Isn't it? Just
Vectrex.
Bread.
Chris.
So when you say PlayStation, do you mean the original one?
Well,
Yeah, that's what I meant,
took,
yeah.
That's what I took the answer as. 'Cause
I'm going to
that's what
say
It's Game Boy. It is Game
PlayStation 2.
yes,
You want us to be right? It's Game Boy.
Oh,
But that's Game Boy.
that's one.
PlayStation 2,
Yep.
bitches.
So that's one for Chris and one for Michael.
So it wasn't Game
Okay.
Boy.
No love for the Vectrex.
No, Michael.
No,
I would have said it was if you said it about 6 times and I said no. I heard you. Okay, it's not that. It's not the
You
Game
never
Boy.
said
Time-
no.
time
actually.
to mute,
You never said
Michael.
no, Brett. That's why.
Yeah, because you
you're
already had it.
teasing me.
You already
No
had your
means
first
no.
answer.
What isn't?
Okay, next question.
Stop playing with my head.
What is the asylum called where the Joker is held?
Grax.
Arkham.
Chris,
Arkham.
Yep.
I believe
Okay.
Grax said the buzzer first.
So Grax had the buzzer as per the rules. So
What's Arkham? So if he says Arkham, then he's cheating because he's signing off.
and what is your answer, Grax?
That would be Arkham Asylum.
Ding, that's correct. One to Grax.
I stole that.
Michael, so you need
How many-
to say your name first, and then I'll.
Yeah, well, everyone can
answer.
see that Grax cheated. So
Well,
how many questions are left?
Grax
we've
doesn't
got
cheat.
3 to go,
So
so it's a tie, right? We've got 1 each.
100%.
What are you going to do if there's a tie break at the very end? And
I don't know.
Oh,
I'll try and think of
pressure
something.
question.
All right, okay.
Okay, the next one.
Random Google.
Which game is set in the underwater city of Rapture?
that is not Michael Bioshock.
Yep,
Michael
yep,
Bioshock.
Yep, you got there.
Just to make sure we said his name.
That's 2 to Michael.
Because we didn't actually know who it was before he started talking.
Yeah.
Well, apparently,
gotta
Brett
say your
did
name
me in last.
first.
He stole it
rules
from me
are
last.
there for a reason, guys. Okay.
Last round, he stole it
100%.
from me.
Okay. Question
Okay.
7 we're up to now. Okay, so the publisher of Assassin's Creed.
Michael
Grax.
is Ubisoft.
Michael. Yep, Ubisoft. That's 3 to Michael.
It's actually Ubisoft Montreal.
No, that's the developer. I said the publisher.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. So
Big-
there is
all
one more
right.
question.
All right.
Michael's already won by default. Well, not default. We've won because he's got the most. But I'll just do
Oh,
one.
we need a
One,
second
right?
place.
Full stop.
between Hurdy and Grax for second place. So yeah, you
Does
shut
that
up,
mean
Michael.
Michael can't answer?
Yeah, well, there's no point. He's already won, so just let this one between Graham and Chris.
Yeah, I'll try.
Okay.
I'll try.
Battle Mecha Hitler in this early first-person shooter.
Chris,
Yes.
Wolfenstein.
No, wrong.
Yeah.
No, you're wrong.
Any more to that?
Mecha Hitler?
Any more to that?
Yeah,
Any
he's
more to
right.
that?
He's so wrong.
Oh, what, Wolfenstein 2?
No,
No, wrong. Sorry, I can't give that to you. Grax, do you want to have a
Oh. Wolfenstein 3D.
Yes.
Wrong.
Sorry,
I thought
you got to say the full name of the game.
I thought it was Escape
Yeah, so,
from
the
The
Castle
first
Wolfenstein.
game to ever have ad-lib audio was awesome.
No, I thought it was Escape from Castle Wolfenstein
No.
is its full name.
It's like
Wolfenstein 3D.
like Minecraft with guns and Germans.
I'm sure it was called Escape
No, isn't that a
from Castle
2D
Wolfenstein.
side-scroller
If I made
game?
that up- I'm pretty sure.
Well, it doesn't matter. You won anyway, so you're the winner.
And I'm-
And maybe we'll do some more rounds in future episodes. But Michael,
He doesn't get carryover points.
we're
though?
still
Or
sort
is
of
he
working
just
this out as
carryover
we go.
champ?
But if you guys enjoyed that, we can do more. We can do more
Yeah,
quizzes.
I've made
So as Michael's prize, does he have to be the quizmaster next week?
Yeah, why not? that sounds.
That could be
Sounds
pretty
reasonable.
painful for the rest of us.
no.
Yeah, but his
actually,
questions
I
will
was
be
right.
like,
It's called,
outrageously ridiculous.
it's called Castle Wolfenstein. It's not called Wolfenstein 3D. It's
Oh,
called
all right.
Castle
Well, no one.
Castle
It doesn't matter
Wolfenstein.
anyway because you still won. No, it doesn't matter.
But we need second
That's
place.
not true, actually. I've made that up. That's a different game.
Oh, okay. All right, you just.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So there you go. A little bit of fun, break up the gaming talk, but let's get back into the game. So 2 games have had some updates lately. Well, Conan has had the Frozen North come out, and Osiris New Dawn has its new update in a better version at the moment. So,
What? Better
Grax, you've been hitting these 2 up. Yeah, I think I said beta.
I
wrong.
think even like a better
Beta,
version.
beta.
Like a better version.
Well, it is technically
technically
a
it
better
is.
version. Yeah, it's a better version of what it was before.
Absolutely. So what are we talking
Just
about first, Conan?
because otherwise I wouldn't have known. So thanks.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for. Conan. So that's had Frozen North, which we think that's what it was called. But
Yes, yeah, it's called Frozen North.
It is called Frozen
The
North.
break.
So what has that brought to the game?
So it's brought a whole new region up in the frozen north, to the north of the map. To be honest, I haven't played the game until the frozen north expansion, so I delayed buying this and sort of getting involved in the hype because there was a lot of negative press around it when it first released in February.
It was hype?
A lot of people were complaining about various.
I didn't even know it existed.
things.
You told me.
Yeah, well, it depends on
was
the
a little
circles
bit.
you move in, I suppose. There was a little bit because it was like the next big thing, better than what was the other failed Conan game?
Exiles.
Age of Conan.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, no, Age of Conan. So it's a hell of a lot better than that. That for starters. But basically, it brings an extra 10 levels on the level cap, and a whole section up north. You've got new gods you can worship. There's new structures you can build. There's new skills you can do.
So obviously for, I guess, these two that didn't even know Conan existed, it's a survival
Conan
building
is
game.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Basically, yeah.
I know
yeah.
what Conan.
No, the
Chris,
game,
and
you
it's-
know who Conan is.
That's exactly
I'd
what
like
it
you to
is.
step off, mate. I'd like you to back up a moment. I didn't know what this game is, so just reel yourself in, mate.
Just calm your farm. Yeah, so basically it's a survival / crafting based building defense game. And depending on how you want to play it, whether you want to join a public server, play it single player, or play it on your own private dedicated server, it can take on various forms. On the public servers, there's an element of PvP to it. If you play by yourself, then obviously that's not really going to occur. It's probably more about just surviving day to day. You got to eat and drink and all that kind of jazz, craft things, shelters to survive. It's brutal with its survival. If you're not eating and drinking regularly, you're basically going to die. Depending on the region of the map you're in, whether you're in the frozen north or in the desert, they affect your character differently. It's really interesting. Like I said, I didn't get on board early on, and from my first instincts of only playing it for under a week now, it's good fun. The base building reminds me a lot of Ark and Fallout 4. So you've got that sort of structured way you can click tiles together and do things. It's a lot more advanced than what something like 7 Days to Die with regards to its base building. The survival is, like I said, pretty brutal with you needing to eat and drink, but there's ways in the game to combat that and take the edge off it. So if you worship certain gods, you can get more nutritious food and food that doesn't spoil. So that's the other thing. The reason it's so hard to eat and drink all the time is because your food spoils, meat goes off, all those kind of things. There's weather that brings dehydration or frostbite. The cool thing, which I didn't even know about before I started playing, and I found out a couple of days later, is you can enslave NPCs and bring them to your base. They're called thralls. So you go out into the world, you find any NPC in the game that isn't a story NPC or a named NPC. So all the other ones are free game. You can just club them over the head a few times, tie a rope around their feet, drag them back to your base, and they'll do various things for you. So you can put them in your crafting station. You can make them perform. If they're a performer, they give you like a buff. It's actually really cool.
Dance for me.
Yeah, basically. So
Whack them over the head with a club.
there's certain NPCs that do certain jobs. So you have to sort of seek out the ones you want. So you can get a blacksmith, you can get a tanner, an armor smith. You can get performers, and they all do different jobs. So one of the other mechanics of the game is when you go into areas that are infested with undead or spiders or evil gods, there's corruption that affects your character, and it basically lowers your health pool, and you can't recover from that unless you have an entertainer thrall at your base that dances and removes the corruption. So it adds another layer. But so far, like, it's still early access. So it's another one of these early access games that's actually had a free DLC. So the Frozen North was an update that they did at the beginning of August.
It's another early access game that has release and expansion.
That's right. Yeah. So they've.
Does that not just sound ludicrous?
It cracks me up. Yeah, it's like what you were saying before, where the game is, apart from a couple of graphical glitches and NPC pathing issues, which, as you said before, also you find in AAA titles in full release anyway. I don't see why they couldn't go release and then just do DLC. Like they've said on their blog that they're looking at doing a full release early 2018. But looking at the game at the moment, it's $24.99 on Steam, or one or something like that. I got it on special. Can't remember last week. And for what I paid for it and the fun I've had in the last week, I am more than happy for that amount of money to have gone to like a AAA title, like as if it was a full release.
See, I actually had Conan when it very first released on Steam, and I kind of ruined it for myself because what I actually did, I went into like a custom match or a custom game, and you could muck around with all the settings and sort of increase like your XP rates and your strength and all that type of stuff. And so I kind of went, oh yeah, this would be cool. So I increased my XP multiplier, and within like 10 minutes, I was like max level, and I was like, oh. I've done everything. I've just kind of ruined the game for myself. Yeah. So I was like, that kind of shot myself in the foot, and I've never played it again ever since.
So that's absolutely still a thing. So even if you play single player, or you have your own dedicated server, or you go on someone's server or one of the ones that you pay to rent, pretty much most of the survival settings and the XP settings and all that all have admin sliders. So you can set the amount of thirst, the amount of hunger, the amount of PvP. I've never seen it before. It's probably in other games, but you can actually restrict PvP to only be able to occur at certain times of the day on certain days of the week. Like, it goes into that level of detail. So you can say Friday night's fight night from 2 till 10, and that's the only time you can hit another player. So and there's a strong element of that. From the research I've done, there's a lot of people online that take pride in, PvPing and beating other people's bases and all that kind of jazz. And one
sounds like Michael's group of friends.
Yeah, but one of the things that adds to that PvP nature is, depending on the god you worship in the game, you have to perform various sacrifices if they're borderline evil, or if they're good ones, you do other things. But when you gain your god's favor, you can, after quite a lot of work, you can summon the avatar of that god, and basically you control the god on the world for 60 seconds. So you can wreak havoc on anything on the map for 60 seconds. The caveat with that, though, is that when you're summoning the avatar, everybody on the server knows where you are, and they'll try and come and kill you to stop the summon. So someone can have this awesome base with lots of defense and all that kind of stuff. If you've gained enough favor with your god, which is bloody hard, you have to work your way up to a tier 3 altar and then do all this other crazy stuff. But if you've got a guild of people working together, it probably wouldn't be that hard. But on your own, near impossible. You can summon an avatar of that god for 60 seconds and just go berserk.
So it sounds like they've actually expanded the game quite a lot now. So do you think it's worth the money?
I would say, I would absolutely give it an 8.5, 9 out of 10 for its current state. Not having known what it was like before, apart from seeing negative reviews, I didn't really go too much into it. I just sort of skipped over it. But for what it is now, like, my whole family's into it. The kids love it. We're, building bases together. Like, even if you just want to play single player and, do adult Minecraft in a medieval world with swords and sorcery, then it's absolutely worth your $21, I reckon, for sure.
Awesome. So the brutal world of Conan, being able to bring families together.
That's a fair good.
Fun for all ages. So
well, actually, no, I'll just go back on that. There is nudity in the game, and it is a setting that you can set if you run a server or you join a server. There's none, partial, and full. And when you go for full nudity, if your character doesn't have clothes on, it's anatomically correct for males and females.
Why would anyone choose not to have nudity?
I agree, 100%. But in character creation, for a male, you can choose your endowment, and for a female, you can choose your assets. I'm sure on some servers there'd be some interesting things to see. But yeah, so just as a caveat for anyone that's thinking about buying it for their 5-year-old, probably not a good idea. And the combat is quite graphic. Like, people lose arms, you decapitate bodies, and when people die, they explode in blood and all that kind of stuff. But if that kind of thing doesn't bother you, for the $21 that it's currently on Steam, it's good fun. And I'm really enjoying it. I'll be playing it for a while, I think.
Cool. There you go. So full nudity. That's all I got.
That was the main thing, right?
I didn't hear anything else after full nudity.
Yeah. So that seems to be the bit where it's like Brett was all of a sudden, oh, hang on, I'm interested now.
Yeah.
So he didn't say anything for that whole section.
And it's like,
another survival game. What nudity? Hey.
And then as soon as Greg goes dick, it's like, oh, hang on.
No,
Brett's
he
interested.
said both sexes.
I didn't actually say dick.
Yeah, he did.
Don't put dicks words into my mouth, man.
That's what.
Don't put dicks in your mouth.
That's what. Yeah, from that whole thing, all Chris got was dick, and he actually added that to the dialogue. It wasn't even there originally.
in the conversation.
That's how your mind works.
Lucky we're not on Twitch right now.
He said in down.
all I heard was the moon landing was faked.
Oh,
No, that's in the
Speaking
next
of
game.
moon-
That's the next game we're talking
That's in the
about.
next game. So Osiris has currently Osiris New Dawn is a.
I'm getting bored of these survival games, guys. I've got to say. I'm just.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm just gonna throw it out there.
I'm struggling to
that much.
survive.
Yeah,
this.
that's fine. Well,
Survival slime.
no.
No, you
Nothing
don't.
to do with
I mean, to be
Nothing
fair,
to do
with
a survival slime game. Slime farm.
Slimer.
Slime farmer. Space edition.
So Osiris is basically kind of space. That's done. Is that done?
So it's
Covered it.
space. Kind of.
7 days to die without zombies
nudity.
in space. With
Is there
a
nudity in
space.
Osiris?
Space.
Yeah.
No,
There might be in
that's
Osiris
in
as well. He didn't say there wasn't.
Conan.
Chris wants to know if there's
Conan.
dick in it.
Conan.
Chris wants to know.
Chris adds it. He just wants to know.
No. Okay, whatever.
Hang on, there's a game past the character creation screen? What the hell?
Yeah,
I've
this
just
is
been
an
sitting on
awesome
this for
game.
10 hours.
Glad I spent $20 on this one.
What are you playing? My game just looks like the character creation screen.
Bigger.
Bigger, smaller. Smaller.
So maybe what we'll do is, I think we're coming up to sort of the end of the show now, so we might leave Osiris for another episode at this point. Maybe we've had a lot of survival sort of based content on today's show, so we'll maybe leave that one for another episode. But that is all we have for you now tonight. So thank you so much for listening. Once again, check the description of the show in your podcast app. All the links to all our social media and YouTube channels,
Maybe
things
we
like
should
that
put-
will all be there.
Maybe we should put talking about Osiris. We'll put that into the land of the dead. We'll put that into the land of the dead end of the show.
But how many
But Osiris
Skyrims can you fit in that?
I don't get it. I don't
Did you
understand.
get that? Do you get that? Do you get what I'm talking about? We'll put Osiris into the land of the dead.
Oh, yeah.
Osiris is the Egyptian god of the dead.
Is that supposed to be funny?
I got it, man. I got it.
Yeah, history.
I don't know. I think
No,
he's
it's just meant to be good. Like,
That's where you need
that's
your boom
my-
tish
I remember
sound
a
effect.
Yeah,
Remember a
yeah.
random fact.
Hey,
the way. There it is.
That's the one.
Sorry, Chris,
Cool.
I
That's
interrupted.
well. That's
Why you were saying something? Sorry.
It's unusual.
yeah. I know. It's the first time ever. Cool. Thank you so much for listening. We will be recording again next week, I believe. Is that correct? Are we doing next week
Yeah,
again?
but this might be like a day later because we're doing sort of a couple of episodes over a week and then they'll both come out at the same time. So for the person listening, there might be another episode available, but they'll be in about a week of each other. It doesn't really matter, to be honest. Like,
We'll just release it when we're ready to be released.
yeah, we'll do it when we feel like it, all right?
We'll do what we feel like it. Exactly.
There might be
Um,
such things. There
But
might
you
be.
know, if you want to see more, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, smash it. Let us know. Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Chris
that's
will be doing that when he's... Chris is doing that to the dick. Just hitting that like button over and over and over.
whatever.
the
I'm
lick,
done.
the
I'm
lick
out.
button.
That's a bit rude,
Whoa.
guys.
Ow.
That's R-rated.
See, finally,
Anyway,
you got to the
appropriate.
R-rated content right at the end.
Of course.
Yeah. Well, you know, you
Get
got
them
to
waiting.
Anyway, thank you so much for listening. If you did enjoy it, tell your friends because, you know, that's what cool kids do. And we will catch you guys in the next episode.